My sock collection is
on point. I've seen some of them.
Bar none, top notch. I just came back from Vegas, and the only thing I really spent money on was food and socks. I bought socks. They got a store that's just called. It's just nothing but socks. Like a
What
whole
were you in
store,
Vegas for?
like as big as this. We're rolling, so whenever you guys want to start.
I'm trying to get this mic fixed.
We rolling.
Oh, this look horrible. I can't even see what I'm doing right now. I don't even know where I am.
Nah, you're good.
Good?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
I'm in the cage. I'm well-rounded. You know, I'm well-rounded. You know, I'm gifted in a lot. Striking is my strong suit. I think striking is my strong suit. I think everyone that
towards the cage, here in Iowa. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, by way of Waterloo, Iowa, Mike Biggie Rhodes.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Karben on Air. I am your host, Addie, and today we are here with professional MMA fighter Mike Biggie Rhodes. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So to start out today, as we start out all of our episodes, we don't have a ton of time, so I just want you to tell everybody at home your life story in 60 seconds. You do that?
I can try.
All right, ready? Go.
Run of the muck kid from Waterloo, Iowa, small town in a pretty small state. Played basketball growing up, any sport actually that could get me out of my situation. Played every single sport in high school except for baseball because I was terrible at it. Ended up breaking my leg, made it to college to play basketball, but gained a lot of weight from breaking my leg. Wanted to get in shape after playing college basketball. Found MMA, fought after a month. Now we're here, professional fighter, and just using that to be my day job.
Awesome. I think that's 60 seconds. We'll stick with that.
Boom.
Boom. Nice work. All right. So we're going to do some lightning round questions here. I'm going to say something. First thing that comes to mind, I'm going to give you 2 seconds. Ready? All right. Favorite color?
Purple.
Favorite food?
Sushi.
Favorite movie?
Sandlot.
Nice. Favorite superhero?
Thor.
Time's up. You didn't pass. One more time. Favorite movie?
Sandlot.
Favorite superhero?
Thor.
Favorite athlete?
Michael Jordan.
Favorite fighter right now?
Demetrius Johnson.
Favorite song right now?
Whoa, that one just took me all the way by a chance. I had no clue.
You don't listen to music?
I do, but it's so many different things, and I just downloaded a bunch of old songs. So, like the new one, ask me that question again.
Favorite song right now?
Till I Die, MGK.
Perfect. All right, we're gonna slow things down here. All right, so as a fighter, you go through a lot of intensive training and things when you go into a fight. So what keeps you motivated? What makes you tick? Like, how do you get through that every day?
I was just talking to a younger fighter actually about this, and it was just like, Eric Thomas talks about all the time, what's your why? Your why has to be something. And I think when I first started fighting, I thought my why had to stay the same. But my coach told me over time, I started fighting at, I was a young kid, a little bit younger than I am now. But I used anger, that was kind of my fuel. That was my why. Like that's what motivated me. But after you start to be successful in the sport, a lot of that kind of goes away, and then you got to find a new motive or a new why. Sure. And so for me, I had to find something that's never changing, and that's just like the love for my family, and wanting to not provide like money-wise, but just show them that you can do anything you want to do, especially where we're from. Not a lot of people have left. It's kind of like one of those places where you don't get out. You know what I mean? If you don't get out early, you don't make it out at all. And if you go back, you're stuck forever kind of thing. And I just don't want that for myself, and I don't want that for my family. So I just try to use my life experiences to fuel me in those spots. And of course, there's been, tragedy and stuff like that within family and different things like that just keeps renewing your passion for what you're doing. And I think that's been the most important why, and the one that's going to last the longest for me.
Awesome. So where are you from? You said.
Oh, I'm from Waterloo, Iowa.
Waterloo,
so
Iowa.
Middle of the map.
Got it. All right, awesome. Separate topic. I've seen hashtag Blame Biggie, the movement online. Where did that come from? How did that come to be?
Shout out to Snipes, aka West Gas, a buddy of ours. I met Eric Koch here in Milwaukee, but he's actually from Iowa. And then when he started going back, we started training together before I moved up here. And he had a friend who helped him out his entire life named West Gast. And we became really good friends. And I don't even know how it got brought up, but he started it. He was like, hashtag blame Biggie. And it just kind of blew off the charts. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted to get in on it. We were like, just hashtag blame Biggie. You can blame me for anything, good or bad. And it took an ugly turn for a little bit, though. Like, if you see some of the hashtags that were used, it was funny and kind of twisted a little bit, but it stuck, you know. And I, in our sport, you need something to make yourself, you know, relevant all the time. And I feel like that's something that makes people want to engage. And, you know, that helped me grow my social media so fast, is people wanting to do that. And, you know, I had different people, you know, using the hashtag and things of that nature. So, yeah, it started from just a thing from our buddy Wes, and it kind of just blew up. And I've been doing it ever since. So there's been some really good ones. There's been some really bad ones. But, you know, shout out to Wes. He's the one that got that movement going.
Got it. If this doesn't turn out, we're just going to blame it on you then. Perfect. Perfect. So did you always know you wanted to be a fighter?
No, I didn't want to be a fighter. Okay. I thought basketball was going to be my route, just like most people. You know, if you played a sport, you kind of gravitated towards one, and that's the one you thought you were going professional in. And basketball was that for me, you know. And I didn't think it was that far-fetched until I got older. But I'm a very real person as far as like being real with myself, like brutally honest. And when I was in high school, I played on a team that was sponsored by Nike. It's called Martin Brothers. We traveled, you know, the U.S. every weekend. We would leave on a Wednesday. We wouldn't get back until Sunday night. We would just go play all over the place. ESPN, like top 150. You know, a lot of the players that are, you know, in the league now and around, like I either played against or, you know, our older team. So I got to play against like OJ Mayo and stuff like that while I was in high school. And our high school team was pretty good, but I got to see like what the real level of competition was out there. And at that point I was kind of like, I can make it, you know. But for me, after probably my sophomore year of high school, I was like, all right, this needs to be something that's going to get my education paid for, you know, or partially paid for, because I knew that's one of the things that hinders a lot of people where I'm from going to school and getting an education is money. So I wanted to let basketball do that for me. And then when I got to college, I was like, oh, maybe I can go to this level. And after a little while, I just got real with myself, and I was like, you know what, your basketball is just not going to be your ticket out. And I found fighting by accident. You know, looking for a summer gym, a school was going to give me a chance to continue to play, and I wanted to get in shape. And I took a martial arts class. Next thing you know, I'm fighting.
Awesome. All right. Do you have a morning routine that you stick to when you wake up every morning? Do you have something that you do every single day, or is it kind of random?
I would say the only thing that's constant as far as like a routine is I wake up in the morning and I just pray. You know, that's big for me. It's been something that I had to add myself. Faith obviously is big for me in a lot of things that I do, but I didn't have the knowledge of, you know, what I was really, how to really pray. You know, I just didn't know, so I wasn't comfortable with it for so long. And I have a really good relationship with my pastor now at my church, and he's a younger guy, supports my fighting and stuff like that. So we have very real conversations, and he's like, just how we're talking, you know, just talk to him. And so that's the one constant for me. Other than that, I wake up at different times. You know, sometimes I have to teach in the morning. So for me, I barely get up enough time to make it to where I got to teach at. And then the times when I don't, I sleep in. But the only constant is I spend time in prayer or just reflection to just think about what I got to go throughout the day. As far as, you know, we beat the crap out of each other every day, you know, in training. So it's like you need a second of just peace and quiet to just mentally focus before you're getting ready to go beat up your best friends.
Awesome. Who do you look up to most in your life? Who's your biggest role model?
I have a couple. It's not just one person, just because I feel like my life is just not in one area. I'm kind of all over the place with a lot of the stuff that I do and the people that I'm around. Not everybody, fights that influences my life a lot. But I would say one of the people that helped me out a lot for the last couple of years is Anthony. You guys just seen him over here shortly. We're at his school, and I've just seen the things that he's done. Before he was a UFC champion, right when I moved to Milwaukee, he allowed me to live in his house with him and his family. He took me in, and he kind of just showed me the work ethic needed to get where I wanted to get and to be, the person I wanted to be. And he comes from a very similar upbringing and situation as me, single parent home, older brother, older sister. But when you're kind of that middle child and you end up having to take the role of being kind of the role model in the household, I feel like he's been that for me. He showed me I could be successful doing what I'm doing, and I want to own a school. I want the kind of success that he's had. And so if you're talking about my profession, I look no further than him. Like I said, my pastor, Paul Stevens, he's the pastor at Epicos Church here in Milwaukee. He's a big influence in my life just as a man. My mom is the one who raised me, so I think she did a really good job. People say that, but it's nice to get a male figure, a male role model that has a little bit different perspective. He's a little bit older, so he has a more life experiences he can give to me and help me with, so I don't have to experience certain things. But I would say those two guys have really helped me out a lot. There's others, but I think right now where I'm at, they're very influential for me.
Awesome. Very cool. What would you say you're most proud of in your career at this point?
I would have to say I'm most proud of how I responded after my first loss. I felt like in the sport, I was gonna be untouchable, undefeated, this just monster that was just gonna run through everybody. And then I ran into this kid that was better, bigger, stronger, faster, and just a better fighter. And that kind of tore me down. I was hurt, man. I was physically hurt because it was a fight, but I was mentally hurt as well. But I responded like I thought I would, but you never know until it happens to you, and I thought, after all, I'm like, man, people are gonna laugh at me, people are gonna talk about me. It happened on national TV. It's like God and everybody saw it, like I couldn't hide from it. And it just sucked that it was my first major opportunity on a national televised event. I'm the main event, and I go out there and I lose, and not only do I lose, I get finished, and it was tough. It was tough to swallow, but I just got back to work. I put my head down and I just grinded it back. And then the fight after that was here in Milwaukee at the Rave, and I fought another very, very talented fighter, bigger record than mine. He had a little bit more experience, and I knocked him out one punch. 56 seconds. It was probably one of my prouder moments, one of my bigger moments in my fighting career. It was like ESPN knockout of the year, but it was I can't remember. It was one of their little one-off shows that did those like numbers or whatever, and it was up against some football player for like a tackle or something, and it won. And I thought that was pretty cool. Just even the fact that it was on ESPN was pretty cool for me. But for me, mostly it was just showing myself that in this sport you're going to lose, and I think that helped me out. Obviously, I've had some lulls in my career where I've won a few, got to the UFC biggest stage, and I lost a few, and then I left the UFC, and I knew how I would respond. I got back to work. I put 4 wins in a row, and then I stumbled again, and now it's that time where I have to get back to work and start piling up wins on one side, so they're double the losses on the other side. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So what's next for you then?
What's next for me? A whole lot of hard work. Pretty simple. I gotta find fights, find people who want to fight me, and I'm just not a type of guy who will fight anybody. As far as I'll fight anybody who's tough. I'll fight anybody who's good. I won't fight people who are bad. If you look at my record, people are saying it's not the prettiest. It might not be, but the people that I've fought are all real. No one with a losing record, no one with a with a handicap where it's like they know they're coming in to be a loss, or a win on my record. No one like that. I fought tough guys. You look, I fought the guy who's the current world champion. I took him 3 rounds. And it's like he went on a 7-fight knockout streak after that, and now he's the UFC world champion. So I know I can be there. It's just a lot of hard work in front of me, and I feel like I'm ready to put that work in.
Awesome. There you have it. He's ready to fight. So whoever's ready. Awesome. Where can people find you online on social media?
Depends on what kind of person you want to see me as. No, I'm joking. Facebook is Mike Biggie Rhodes fan page. A lot of the stuff that gets sent over there is directly from my Instagram, which is Team Rock Biggie, TEAMROC, BIGGIE. If you want to see a little bit more of the outside Twitter, non-PG stuff, you can follow Team Rock Biggie on Twitter. Sometimes it gets a little dicey though. That's just a warning. But yeah, that's pretty much the social media for me. And
perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it. That's all we got for today. Thanks for joining us, guys. Please join us again next week, Wednesday, for our next episode. Until then, keep doing what you love, and I'll see you next week. Peace.
You're tuned in to Karben on Air with your host, Chad Addie.